Nebraska flooding has turned towns into islands. Now more areas, slideshow by Photo Services. This landlocked state shouldn't have any islands. But the deadly flooding, More than 8 million people are under flood warnings in the Midwest and the Mississippi River Valley, CNN meteorologist Dave Hennon said. Eastern. The flooding has already killed 2 people in Nebraska and 1 man in Iowa. Ricketts said at least near Winslow, Nebraska, floodwater is eating away the site of one of the few roads leading into the town, CNN's Stephanie Elam reported. Flood records have been shattered in 17 places, and more rivers will likely break cresting records this week, the Nebraska Emergency Management Agency said. A crest is, now the big concern is water draining downstream, further deluging communities that can't take any more flooding. The mammoth flooding follows a powerful that slammed the central U.S. last week with hurricane-like winds and blizzard conditions. Melting ice and snow ended up in rivers and streams, causing flooding and damage days after the precipitation was over. When a destructive mix of water and ice barreled toward Willard and Denise Ruzicka's farm, 15 neighbors scrambled to help. Lori Krasik-Nig was one of the neighbors who raced to the Ruzicka's 5-generation farm Saturday night. The team tried to move, but less than 3 hours later, water and ice tore through the farm. The blacksmith shop it. Now Iowans are also grappling with dangerous flooding. James Nenneman heard sirens blaring across the city of Hamburg around 4 a.m. Monday morning. A barrier that the town had built and reinforced to hold back river water was breaking. Everyone needed to go. Now, Nenneman's basement is flooded. If the water rises, feels. Nebraskan James Wilk, a farmer in Platte County, used his tractor to try to help a person trapped in a vehicle, NEMA spokesman Mike White said. With another Nebraska man died after he was overcome by floodwaters near a dam in Spencer, White said. He said 1 more person in Nebraska is missing and presumed dead. In Iowa, Alido Rojas Gallon of Nebraska was one of 3 people rescued from floodwater, Iowa's Fremont County Sheriff's Office said. But Gallon, Nebraska's Offutt Air Force Base, just south of Omaha, said about 30 buildings were flooded. Team. In Iowa, a mandatory evacuation order has been issued for some residents of Pacific Junction, reported a county board, the Nebraska governor and Republic. Don Bacon urged, as the recovery process begins, NEMA urged residents to keep looking out for loved ones and neighbors. Warning signs include increased use of alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs. Feelings of anxiety, search for location/city.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.